LTU Sports Report is brought to you by the City of Southfield, the center of it all, and Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.
Welcome, Blue Devil Nation, inside the LTU studios for another awesome edition of the LTU Sports Report. I'm Chloe Godbold. We have a jam-packed show for you today. All of the action that occurred over the weekend, men's volleyball, men's and women's basketball, and hockey highlights on tap. So let's get to it. We start with men's volleyball.
Welcome back into the Don Riddler Fieldhouse for the men's volleyball team's home opener against the Siena Heights Saints. This is the second time the Blue Devils have seen the Saints, unfortunately losing both times. But the Blue Devils come into this season with 6 new freshmen for their first ever LTU men's volleyball home opener. Let's get into the action. In the first set, the boys started off with a great tempo. The Saints scrambled to get the ball over, dug up by number 2 Jake Rajewski to Page, and thrown back to Landon King. Another out-of-system ball gives the Blue Devils a free ball play. Passed by senior Zach Narkowitz up to Jacob Page and set to Austin Cincy, who takes a huge rip at the ball. This ball is dug up once again by the Saints and set back to their right side hitter, who is rejected by a roof from the freshman duo, Patrick Newell and Austin Cincy. The Blue Devils ended up losing the first set, 16-25. The second set starts off with a top spin serve from the Saints, passed up by Narkowitz, bump set by Page, and hit by King. A tight pass from the Saints libero gives the Blue Devils an overpass swing attempt, resulting in a huge kill from 6-foot Patrick Newell. The boys lost the second match 10-25. The third set is when the Blue Devils really began to shine. Saints with a float serve to Rajewski, thrown outside to Newell with a deep court shot, which is dug up by the Saints and attacked back over. Dug up by Jacob Page to Rajewski, set to Newell, another dig from Narkowitz to Page to set Jewett, who is ready for the kill. Later in the set, a top spin serve is dished over by the Saints, passed up by Narkowitz, and put straight down by Florida native Austin Cincy. The Blue Devils ended up winning this match 25-20. The fourth set begins with a jump serve by Newell that is passed tight by the Saints and blocked over by the Devils. Paragon digs this up. A miscommunication forces the Blue Devils to give away a free ball. A frantic play results in a dig by Page and a bump set to Narkowitz with a kill that causes the ball to go flying into the rafters. The Blue Devils lost the fourth set 12-25, giving the Siena Heights Saints a 3-1 victory.
Well, I think youth right now is we're trying to get 3 or 4 freshmen to start and play all the way around, and Siena Heights is a mature team, so it's always tough to beat a mature team that knows how to play. I think we're super athletic. We're just novice at playing volleyball. They're out there learning while they're playing, so it's a tough way to go. But again, they're doing a great job so far. They're learning every game that we have. So unfortunately, it's got to be during the game because they don't have the volleyball knowledge yet. So they're learning as we're going through it.
It will be some time before the men's volleyball team is back in action. Their next match will be inside Don Riddler at 1 p.m. against Robert Morris on Saturday, February 8th. Speaking of Don Riddler, we head back inside the field house for the pink out game as the women's basketball team took on Aquinas.
We're inside the Don Riddler Fieldhouse for the annual Pink Out game as the Lawrence Tech women's basketball team squares off against the Aquinas Saints. In what many are calling the WAC Game of the Week, the energy inside Don Riddler was sensational as 2 of the WAC's top teams faced off for the second time this season. The Blue Devils won that first meeting by 9 points. And we start this one off in the first quarter. Game tied at 10. Here's starting point guard Kendall Fisher, who drives down the lane and hits her defender with a spin move and nails the jumper. However, the Saints have a 2-point lead headed into the second quarter. Things got out of hand in the second as the Saints caught fire. But the East Lansing native Danielle Hansen hits a much-needed jumper to stop the bleeding. She had 17 points on the night. LTU would trail by 14 at the break. The Blue Devils would begin to claw their way back as senior Hope Dollarhide hits a step-through layup for the 2 points, bringing the Blue Devils within 8 points. Moving on to the fourth, the comeback continues as a miss from Fisher leads to a nice putback from Hansen. The Lawrence Tech comeback falls short, dropping this game 73-66 your final. The Blue Devils travel to Concordia for their next game on Wednesday, the 29th at 6 p.m.
It's time for a quick break, but before we go, be sure to follow LTU Athletics on your favorite social media platform. Hit that like button, share with friends and family, and comment to let us know how you like the show. More highlights up ahead when the LTU Sports Report returns.
We're getting reports that you have over 40,000 flavor combinations.
That's right.
May I examine one, ma'am? Is this real cheese?
100% real mozzarella, officer.
Explain this dough.
Made fresh daily.
I'm gonna have to confiscate this as evidence.
Aren't you a mall cop?
All units, someone's in the fountain.
10-4. Tiger on the prowl.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread.
Hungry? Howie's!
Welcome back to the LTU Sports Report. I'm Chloe Godbold. The pink theme inside Don Riller continues. The men's basketball team hopes to block out cancer while trying to take down Aquinas as the Blue Devils look to snap a 2-game skid.
The Lawrence Tech men's basketball team takes on the Aquinas Saints for some Saturday afternoon WAC basketball action. LTU started the season winning 6 of their first 9 games, the best start in program history. But the young Blue Devils had struggled in conference play this season. With their motto being pound the pavement, the Blue Devils still show fight in every game. Let's jump right into the action. Midway through the first half, LTU down 4. And here's sophomore standout Jordan Henry, who fakes out his defender and lays the ball in for 2 points. Henry led all scorers with 24 points. Later on in the first half, freshman Brandon Beavers flies down the court and slams the ball down for 2 points, tying this game up at 17. After an exciting first half, Lawrence Tech took a 4-point lead at halftime. To the end of the second half, Blue Devils down by 3, and the Dansville native Carter France hits a fadeaway 3 over his defender to send this game into overtime. This would be the first overtime game for the Blue Devils this season, and LTU would struggle to score. Here's Beavers again, only this time he drives hard through the lane for 2 points. Beavers would score all 7 LTU points in overtime, but that effort was not enough. Your final score, 81-74. The Blue Devils hit the road for a matchup against Concordia on Wednesday the 29th. Tip-off is at 8 p.m.
Resiliency coming down from our coaches and the leaders on the team. All we do, whenever we break a huddle, our saying is believe. So we believe, we go over these situations in practice all the time. So we definitely all believe that we can come back at the end of regulation. We just keep grinding.
I think we're getting better every single day. We just keep on the practice and everything, just trying to get better overall.
It takes continued belief. It takes continued practice, but also just execution. Now, when you get out there in the moment, you got to focus and lock into what you've been taught in practice and get it done.
Tough loss there for the Blue Devils in overtime, but we want to thank everyone who came out on Saturday and supported this great cause for cancer awareness. Now another battle to get to. We now head to Farmington Hills Ice Arena, where rivals Indiana Tech are neck and neck with LTU hockey in conference play.
The Lawrence Tech hockey team was at home on Friday night for a conference matchup as the Blue Devils welcomed in Indiana Tech. The Warriors got the best of LTU back in October as the Blue Devils looked to bounce back against their Tech rivals. It did not take long for the Blue Devils to strike gold. Just 5 minutes into the first period of play, sophomore defenseman Bryce Ebert jumps into the offensive zone and his snipe beats the goalie to give the Blue Devils an early 1-0 lead. 5 minutes later, and the Blue Devils still have that flame lit. Check out the speed and strength from Livonia native Brendan Priest as he buries this one into the back of the net to put LTU up 2-0. The Blue Devils will capitalize on their scoring chances yet again, but a little help from the hockey gods helped LTU record their 3rd goal of the night. Freshman Timo A with the give to sophomore Sean Paulette. The initial shot is saved, but the puck takes a Blue Devil bounce off the defender and flutters into the net. Score is 3-0 after the first period of play. Indiana Tech had a great chance on the breakaway, but freshman Spencer Kroll is there with the denial to keep the Warriors off the board. We now jump into the 3rd period. Score is 4-2 in favor of the Blue Devils. Senior forward Parker Hodges is all alone in the slot as he puts a nasty backhander that goes in top shelf. That would be your game winner as the Blue Devils hold off Indiana Tech in a close battle. 5-4, your final score.
Well, when you play a top 10 team like iTech, we expect a force throughout the game. We had a great first period, all built on our team speed, our intensity. That was key. We were rewarded for that in the first period. iTech came out like we expected them in the second and put a couple in, but the boys were ready and were prepared, and they took care of business as the game progressed.
Thank you for tuning into another edition of the LTU Sports Report. A reminder of things happening around campus. On Wednesday, January 29th, the American Red Cross will be inside the Architecture Gallery from 12 to 5 p.m. for blood donations. Also, the Lawrence Tech men's soccer team is holding an open tryout. So if you are looking to become the next Messi, mark your calendar for Friday, April 3rd. That's all the time we have for you today on the LTU Sports Report. I'm Chloe Godbold. Have a great week, everybody.